Hey, what's up everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be going through my entire Nintendo Switch collection, both physical and digital. Now, I kind of procrastinated these last little while, so that's why if you go on my channel, you'll find a video from a couple years ago, but not for last year, which I kind of regret because obviously these videos are often just used by me as a benchmark so, so that I can go back and see how my collection changes over the years. And unfortunately, since I didn't do one last year, whatever changes happened in the last 2 years uh, isn't as obvious, or it is obvious. It's just there are some things that I bought and traded that unfortunately are not in this video. So without further ado, let's start. So we have technically the first Nintendo Switch game that I have that I bought physically, Sonic Forces Bonus Edition. Now this comes with a controller skin. That's why it's called the Bonus Edition, as well as some a download code for some extra content. They've been doing these, yeah. So you can, yeah, you come with controller skin plus a load of in-game items. I'm not sure if you can get these in-game. I can't remember if you can get these in-game items regularly now. Sega's had a habit of doing these bonus editions, as we will soon see in a moment. As you'll see in a moment, but basically they've been doing this with Sonic games for the last decade, where they have like a bonus edition, or in the case of Sonic Lost World, the Deadly Six bonus edition, or sorry, the Deadly Six edition, or whatever. Or in the case of Sonic Generations, they have the pre-order bonus Casino Night DLC, which you cannot get on consoles any other way. So if you didn't pre-order it, you can't get it. You can get it on PC, but not on consoles. So yeah, that's definitely one issue that they've consistently had over the years. It's a nice bonus at first, but then when people come back and try to play these, you're missing out on like the bonus stuff unless you buy like certain versions of the games. As for the game itself, yeah, this is definitely one of the probably the worst uh, boost era Sonic games. You know, the ones where Sonic is able to boost. So Sonic Unleashed, Sonic Colors, Generations, and Forces. This is probably the worst one. I mean, there is mild entertainment. I mean, I bought this game, so obviously I had some fun with it, but definitely not as fun as like the others in a lot of ways. Certainly it takes the worst elements of like Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations and or actually it takes the worst elements of the Boost era games and into one pack and bundles it into one package, and that's basically what you get here. Sadly, um, yeah. Ne- Thankfully, the next game I'm going to talk about is actually really good. Sonic Mania Plus. This is the physical edition that came in 2018. Originally, when this launched in 2017, there was no physical copy of the game. There was a physical edition, but it just came with a download code, which I think was really absurd. I mean, what is the point of a physical edition if you're not even going to include the actual disc or cartridge? That honestly seems a bit absurd to me. But yeah, so we have Sonic Mania Plus here. I did an unboxing of this a while back. It includes an art book and a reversible cover. But yeah, so this is the so yeah, you can see right there there's a cover, there's a book and art book inside, and the reversible cover as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. So here's what the actual game looks like. Uh, and inside there's a reversible cover. Let's see if I can show it off quickly. Let's. Oh yeah, behind here you can see it. Yeah, so it looks more like a Genesis box if you're feeling nostalgic. Now this game has actually received quite a number of re-releases. So this is the only version of the game where the launch edition is like the only in 2018 uh, is the only version where you can get the plus deal, the encore, the DLC included on the cartridge or disc. They made subsequent re-releases on Switch, such as just having the regular Sonic Mania, which doesn't come with the DLC, which I think is really just absurd, ridiculous. And then there's also the double pack, which comes with Team Sonic Racing, which is I find interesting because in the Nintendo Switch version of Team Sonic Racing, the opening cutscene is missing because they couldn't fit it on the cartridge, and yet they were able to fit. They couldn't fit that on the cartridge, and yet they could fit Sonic Mania, just the base game, anyways. And yeah, that's really odd. Okay, let's yeah. Yeah. So there's like three different variants of Sonic Mania that exists on Switch. This is definitely the best one for sure. Next up, we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'll be honest, I haven't played this game as much as I would love to. I don't know. It just feels like just feels like it almost feels a little. It almost feels a little too soon. I mean, it almost looking back, we only had like maybe a couple years in between like the last DLC for Super Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS and this one. That said, I was really looking forward to this. In fact, the moment they announced this, I immediately got a Nintendo Switch, and just the base game alone has is just the base content alone is really is is quite expansive. You have 70 plus fighters, 100 over 100 stages, and of course you have the World of Light mode, I believe, which honestly I haven't finished to this. I still haven't finished it. It's not. It's kind of a bit. It's really disappointing actually. But as for this game itself, yeah, definitely an excellent game. Uh, like a very, it's a very, it's Nintendo, of course. It's a Nintendo game, of course. What do you expect? Now this one, Starlink Battle for Atlas. Now this game was interesting for a number of reasons because when they first announced this, they announced that the Nintendo Switch version of the game would feature Fox McCloud and several other characters from the Star Fox series, which is really interesting. So this was so, uh, but but unfortunately, despite that, the game suffered from one serious issue, and that was the Toys to Life aspect. So this was 2018. Like the Toys to Life was basically dead. The Toys to Life genre was kind of dying already. It's already had made it. It was already dead technically, and this was like the last big push for it. And unfortunately, it was way too late. I mean, whatever ideas that they had prior, it was just outdated. I'm sure they must have even back in like they were developing this when they were developing this, they saw that Toys to Life was kind of they saw the sales of Toys to Life and they thought, oh, the Toys to Life is making billions of dollars, and they wanted to cash in on it, but they jumped in way too late, and by that point, people were already getting sick of it, especially when you had you had like 6 entries of Skylanders, with the latest entry Imaginators kind of failing in terms of sales. Disney Infinity got canceled because it was just for because apparently it got too expensive, and then of course Lego Dimensions again also it started to get too expensive as well, which that got canceled, and then yeah we have this. So so yeah, like I said, Nintendo Switch version of the game, um, for which also yeah it came with a big package. I just have the case here. I don't want to get out the package because I already did an unboxing of that. But basically, you get in the Switch edition, you get like a bit. You get the Arwing from Star Fox and Fox McCloud figure. Whereas the Xbox and PS4 version, you just get one of the playable characters in the game, and that's it. And sorry, playable characters and ships instead. As you can see on the top here, it says internet download required. Micro SD card may be required. Yeah, this is when they kind of this was like in the early days of the Nintendo Switch where they put this really ugly banner at the top that to let people know that yeah you're gonna need a micro SD card because apparently we couldn't be bothered to put the whole game on the cartridge, or the cartridge available at the time was just too small, or we just didn't want to pay for the bigger cartridges. Whatever whatever reason they whatever reason for whatever reason, um, a lot of games, some games did this, which not obviously I'm not happy about because you buy a physical version because you don't want to download stuff, and yet these games, especially on Switch, require downloads. And as we'll see in a moment, unfortunately, this has kind of been getting worse in some ways. But yeah, that's Starlink Battle for Atlas. It's a decent game so far. Haven't played it. Haven't played it in so long. Um, that said, this game failed so badly that I saw a whole bunch of copies at my local Dollarama, um, which is basically the very popular dollar store here in Canada. Just yeah, it's sold so poorly that it that they were selling it for just $4 brand new. Could you imagine that, a brand new Nintendo Switch game selling for $4 at a dollar store? And not just Nintendo Switch, it was also the PS4 and Xbox One copy as well, which uh, for which the Xbox One copy I got upstairs in my upstairs. I definitely, I definitely, it kind of makes me regret actually paying the $30 though. Like I paid $30 for the Nintendo Switch version, thinking it was a great deal, but as it turns out, the game was a commercial failure, and I ended up paying a premium for a product that I barely even played. Oh well. Next up, Fire Emblem Warriors. This is an interesting one. So this was when, of course, they made a couple of these types of games recently. So of course you have Hyrule Warriors before it, and then of course they made this, and some people weren't happy with it because, well, it only included characters from one of the more recent titles. So you have Chrom over here from Fire Emblem Awakening, Marth, who's who most players will recognize from Smash Brothers, Corrin, um, and these two characters over here from Fire Emblem Fates, and of course these two original characters who look oddly similar, who look similar to the characters from Fire Emblem Heroes, that mobile game that's still going strong, but are different characters entirely. So yeah, what can I say? It's a Dynasty Warrior style game, hack and slash gameplay. I've yet to touch this game, largely because, well, I still haven't played Fates yet, or Awakening for that matter, and Awakening on 3DS is pretty expensive now because the eShop closed and I didn't get it. Oh well. But yeah, this is probably going to be on my shelf for a long time because I don't see myself going back to Fire Emblem for a while. I've kind of neglected the franchise for many years. I played Sacred Stone. I played Path of Radiance. I got partway through Radiant Dawn and partway through Fate, but I never finished. So until I finish those games, this is going to be on the back burner for a while. Next up, Borderlands Legendary Collection includes 3 games plus add-on content. So so remember what I said earlier about games not being on the cartridge and the big ugly white banner? Yeah, well, thankfully in this game, at some point, I think 2019, they started making it smaller, so it's still there. Download and micro SD card required, but it doesn't take up a huge amount of space. So this collection I got for about $20. Comes with Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, and Borderlands the pre-sequel. This of course is yeah. So as you can see on the back, you need at least 42 gigabytes of space, and obviously the base model Switch does not have that much space, so you're definitely going to need a micro SD card, which sucks honestly, but at the same time, yeah. So you have the download code here, which I've already redeemed. I did an unboxing video for all the games here, but but since I'm willing to bet not everybody's watching those videos, I just wanted to point out that only Borderlands 1 is on the cartridge, and Borderlands 2 and pre-sequel you have to download. And it's also worth noting that if you're buying it from the eShop, I think you can only yeah, you can buy Borderlands 1 separately, but for these two games, you have to buy them uh, as part of the Handsome collection. You can't buy them separately, unfortunately, which yeah, definitely sucks. And also worth mentioning is that there was a deal. It doesn't include all the DLC. So Borderlands 2 had the Commander Lilith DLC, which was released in anticipation for Borderlands 3, and I managed to get it for free. I managed to get it for free, and it unfortunately it was it actually broke the game for some time, but I think they patched it now. So yeah, if you're gonna play Borderlands, keep in mind that you're only getting the first game on the disc, sorry, on the cartridge, and the other two are download codes. The game does go on sale quite frequently, so on the eShop, so uh, might as well just get it there, I guess, if you never played the Borderlands series, especially now because now the new reprints of the game don't even include the cartridge. It's just a code in the box, which honestly really sucks. Oh yeah, it's also worth mentioning I have like 3 different copies. Yeah, I must have. Borderlands is a franchise I've played part multiple times in the sense that I've got like partway through the game, but then I gave up. And so far, I tried first on PS3, tried it a bit on Xbox, both 360 and Xbox One, and now I tried it on Switch, and I kind of just stopped playing. I really gotta, I really gotta get in, just finish this game at some point. Next up, speaking of finishing games, we have Sonic Colors Ultimate. This, of course, is a remaster um, of Sonic Colors that released on Nintendo Wii back in 2010. Unfortunately, despite title the subtitle Ultimate, it's not necessarily the definitive edition of the game. For starters, it doesn't include the DS version of the game, which kind of sucks because that version of the game is actually pretty good. And not only that, but the quality of the port itself isn't the greatest. I mean, for starters, they changed the game. They shifted game engines, and as a result, the game ends up looking a bit different, and not necessarily for the better. Some places look brighter than they should be. Some places look darker than they should be. Um, yeah, it's not as doesn't look as good necessarily, but that's really depending on the player. And I honestly I would forgive that if it weren't for the fact that this game was also pretty buggy at launch. No, seriously, like I ran into quite a number of bugs and glitches, some of which have yet to be patched out. I mean, they actually added they actually had some patches, but they never bothered like fixing fixing some very noticeable ones. There's one stage where Sonic just kind of just pops out of nowhere as the stage starts, and that still has not been patched to this day, which really sucks. Um, it could have been a very good. It could have been a what should have been a simple remastering effort ended up making the game slightly worse in some ways, and I'm very it's very sad too because this is a pretty decent game, fairly decent game all things considered, and which for the longest time was stuck on the Wii. I know some people. I know playing the game through like the Dolphin emulator is a pretty popular way of playing it nowadays, and I'm sad that. And in some ways, yeah, you're better. I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, I think the Nintendo Wii version is a much what's the word put together package, in for lack of for lack of better words. I mean, it's still an okay version. Just don't pay full price for this. Really, wait. If you really don't want to play this on like the Nintendo Wii or an emulator on the Wii, I should say, you definitely when you want to play this on your PlayStation or Xbox, wait for a sale at the very least. Please don't pay full price for this like I did. And now that said, the game also comes with a. This is like the launch edition, which comes with this unnecessarily huge package. And the reason it's so big is because it comes with this tiny little keychain, which honestly isn't all that big at all. Like if you look inside, if I could just open this up. Gosh, yeah, see? If you look inside, The keychain doesn't even occupy that much space, really. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, it's the Baby Sonic keychain from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and yeah, being the big Sonic fan that I am, of course I had to get it, but honestly, you can live without it. There's a ton of changes to this game that was made as well, um, but there's too many out there. Generally, they added a new Wisp power up, which changed, and they actually changed up some of the level design to accommodate for it. So there's that. But honestly, guys, the Wii version's just as good anyhow. And what one last thing I want to mention, the Nintendo Wii version actually had an online leaderboard, at least when the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection service was still working. And yet this version of the game doesn't. Interestingly enough, it has no online component whatsoever. Heck, the Nintendo Wii version actually lets you play as your Mii's, and you'd think the Nintendo Switch version at the very least would let you do that, but no, can't even play as your Mii's here, which sucks. All right, I think I've complained enough about Sonic Colors. I have Splatoon 2 here. Now this is, I just printed out this this cover art from My Nintendo. As for the actual real cover art, it's underneath it. But yeah, so this is the second game. Yeah, you also have, I think, this reversible cover. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this game, I remember. It's of course the successor to the rather popular, surprisingly popular Splatoon back on the Nintendo Wii U, released back in 2015. I haven't really got into this. I still haven't played. I still want to get to the campaign in Splatoon 1 before I jump into this. That said, I really wish. I'm a bit disappointed they haven't brought over the campaign from the first game. Like, it seems like such a no-brainer for them to actually bring it over, especially since um, Splatoon 1 was released on like the worst-selling Nintendo console of all time, home console of all time, I should say. So it would make a lot of sense to just repackage that campaign and release it as like DLC for like future entries. But no, which is a shame. Oh well. Next up, speaking of the Nintendo Wii U, we have here one of the best Nintendo Wii U games, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. This game, of course, originally came out like 10 years ago now, and they got a port to the Switch last year, and they took away some features, sadly. So for obvious reasons, Miiverse doesn't exist anymore, so whatever Miiverse functionality there was no longer exists. But that said, they did include the Bowser's Fury campaign, which definitely helps alleviate the fact that this is being sold at full price, because the Bowser's Fury campaign is basically what you get when you take a Mario game and make it kind of like a Zelda game. At least from what I've seen. Anyways, I haven't actually played it. I haven't actually touched this. I played a bit of the Wii U version of Super Mario 3D World, but haven't really touched this. Definitely a really good game though. Even includes online multiplayer now, though I heard it's not that great, which is unfortunately a common theme with first-party Nintendo games. The online mode is very disappointing. Next up, Super Mario Odyssey. This, of course, came out in the year of the Switch's release, and it was really, really good. Have yet to actually play this, my copy. I did try it out at a friend's house, but aside from that, yeah, I haven't touched it, and probably won't for a while until I get to this guy over here. But yeah, great game. I'm interested to see when we're gonna get the next 3D Mario game, though. That'll be interesting to see. And while I'm at it, might as well, since they've already given us 3D World, they might as well give us Super Mario Galaxy 2. That's the only one that's missing on Switch right now. Next and finally, for the last physical game, I have Sonic Frontiers, which I bought not too long ago. Uh, when it comes to Sonic games, I've always see when it came to these other games, I bought them. Actually, no, yeah. I kind of waited on this one to have a price drop. I just wasn't willing to pay the full price for this, especially on Nintendo Switch. This version looks doesn't at times looks really incredibly pretty poor in a lot of places in the visual department. It's still very much a playable version of the game. It's just it's very noticeable. It's very noticeable. The graphical downgrades is very noticeable. Not to mention, it's only half the frame rate as the other version of the game. So yeah, you're not getting the best visual fidelity. Not that it means much because unfortunately, between between this and the other version of the game, the one thing that's consistent is the amount of pop in, which is really unfortunate. As for the game itself, it's a pretty good game, honestly. Just don't pay full price for it, especially on Switch. Uh, there's also been a couple updates to this game that adds new content and some features, and there's actually one more DLC that's actually coming soon, include that is supposedly going to let us play as other characters. Though I am curious as to how they're going to play because we haven't had uh, playable character. We've only had like just Sonic for the last decade and a half, for the most part. Like even when they do include like other characters, it's often in extremely limited capacities. Um, but yeah, or in the case of Sonic Boom, it was just a bad game to begin with. But yeah, this is this base this is basically Sonic's take on an open world game. I haven't quite finished it yet. I'm on the third island out of I think 5, but it's a really good Sonic game for sure. Definitely better than Forces overall in terms of like overall quality, I guess. But it does. That's not to say it's not perfect. It's got some issues. I've already mentioned some of them, but things do get a bit stale at times. But that does it for my entire physical collection. Now let's move on to my digital collection here on my actual Switch console. So okay, in terms of, as we can see here, we have Sonic Frontiers popped right in, but we also have uh, Overwatch 2, which a lot of people are really not liking that right now because they cancel I think the single player mode, and it not only that, but it also feels like just it feels a bit too similar to Overwatch 1, which I understand. Um, well, at least it's so weird though because we have all these live service games that change up the game so much that they might as well just be their own like sequels. Like Fortnite, for instance. That game's changed so much over the course of its lifetime, um, that it's that I really don't know what to make. I mean, on one hand, you obviously want players to have access to like the old versions just from a preservationist standpoint, but it's basically impossible to do with these live service titles. Yeah, I haven't really been playing Overwatch all that much except with friends. Fall Guys, it's well, I've dabbled in it a bit. Of course, we have the Nintendo Switch Online, Super Nintendo, the Game Boy, Nintendo Switch Online, NES, and I also have the Japanese uh, NES over here, which does include some exclusive games. All you have to do is just create a Japanese account and download the Switch Online app, and as long as you have an NSO subscription, regardless of which account it's on, as long as you're on the same system, it will work. Next up, we have Warface. Haven't really played it. Dauntless. I kind of stopped playing that. It's basically like Monster Hunter, Super Famicom. Warframe, which I've tried repeatedly to get into. haven't been able to get into it. I've heard it's basically like Destiny, which I've also struggled to get into. Ninjala, uh, Nintendo's take uh, on like a live service game. Now, let's see here. We got some apps, Crunchyroll and YouTube, and yet no Netflix. I don't understand what the heck's going on. Like what? Like the Nintendo 3DS, Wii, and Wii U had Netflix on them. I don't know why it is that this is the only system that doesn't have it. I already showed you Smash Brothers, but we also have Apex Legends, which is pretty good. Although it doesn't, it's still missing out on like cross save, unfortunately. And this version of the game also, look is significantly uh, has been significantly downscaled. It's still very playable. It's just that in addition to the frame rate being cut, um, the visuals obvious doesn't look quite as crisp as the other versions. Smite, I just have this downloaded because of all the free stuff I've been getting, and also cross-platform save as well. Cross-platform save is a nice feature, of course. Asphalt 9, I just have this here because why not? Rocket League, I got a bunch of. I remember when they transitioned to a free-to-play model. Because I had access to the game on Game Pass, I got a whole bunch of free stuff that came with it, which was awesome. Fortnite, I know a lot of people like to speak poorly of this game, but honestly, what can I say? It's a really, really fun game. This game haven't touched. Rogue Company. This game has actually been discontinued on Switch in terms of like support. And yet I still have it here because, well, you know, I'm sure at some point somebody out there is probably going to make it work again. Apparently, developers decided to cut support because it wasn't running very well. We also have Brawlhalla, which I've barely touched at all. There's Borderlands, like I before. Paladins also discontinued, sadly. The demo for Splatoon 3. Obviously, I don't own Splatoon 3 yet, but we'll see what happens. Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. This, I believe, includes. You can actually purchase the game. I have like at least for both these collections. I have like at least one game in each compilation. I can't remember which game it was, but basically they give you like one game for free, and then everything else you have to purchase individually, or just buy everything all at once on the eShop. This one I don't actually own anymore, but I still have it here. I should probably delete it, honestly. Super Bomberman R Online. This is the online component for Super Bomberman. Of course, Sonic Forces, Sonic Colors. Deltarune Chapters 1 and 2. I've yet to play Undertale, so definitely going to try that out first before playing this. Tetris 99. Super Mario 3D World, of course. Luigi's Mansion 3, which I don't own. I don't own this, but I managed to play through half the game for free thanks to a trial period that they were running. I do not own this anymore. Again, probably should delete some of these stuff. I just don't want to because I don't want to potentially lose the save files. Even though they do cartridge save. They do. I have cloud save. I just don't want to risk it. Namcop collection. I have at least one game on there. Splatoon 2, of course. Savage Halloween. This is one of the shovelware titles that I bought. Oh yeah, I also have Twitch here. Pac-Man 99. And here's the Borderlands Pre-Sequel Ultimate Edition and Borderlands 2 Game of the Year Edition. Okay, on second thoughts, maybe you can purchase Borderlands 2 and Pre-Sequel separately. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I gotta check. Spellbreak, that game's been discontinued. Let's actually go to this one. Breath of the Wild. This is one of the 4 games I got with the system. Sky, Children. Yeah. Breath of the Wild. I still have yet to finish that, so that's why I'm not going to be touching Tears of the Kingdom for a long, long time. Sky, Children of Light. Don't even know what that's all about. Demo, which I've heard this. Yeah, I've tried it. It's pretty good. Demo at least. Stardew Valley. I've yet to really get into this. Kind of regret getting this one and this one as well because I paid way too much for both these. Or in the case of this one, I I don't even touch it. This one, a live service game. This one discontinued. Bayonetta, which I've been trying to get into this, but I haven't finished it. Also, couldn't get into this one yet. Haven't even touched this, and oh boy, Balan Wonderworld. Yeah, this demo is was certainly the thing that kind of doomed the game, because that's when people began to realize this game was not going to be good. Sad, was not going to be good. And as we all know, and as some of you may know, the director of the game, Yuji Naka, has since been arrested for insider trading. So yeah, that's not good. NBA 2K19. I bought this one because at the time the Toronto Raptors were doing really good and they're selling it really cheap, and I kind of just bought it because it was cheap. I kind of regret it now because, well, I could have saved the money. This one, I don't. Yeah, that's just a It's a demo, but it's a pretty extensive demo. It's a 10-hour long demo, which is honestly very impressive. Doom 2, which I kind of regret getting because it's on Game Pass, Funimation, a service that's basically dead now. Celeste came with my Switch. Also, same with Bayonetta. That also came with my Switch. Earthworms. That's basically a shovelware title. Shovelware. Doom. Also, kind of regret. I haven't finished it either. A lot of this is shovelware. This is obviously a very good game, which I just showed. Demo. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I kind of regret getting this now because I haven't actually because not too long after getting this, I saw they had a physical copy on sale, which came with a special physical edition of the game, which came with all the DLC and so on and so forth. So yeah, I kind of regret getting this digitally now. Oh wait, what? Oh, okay. I don't know how I got. Okay, I'm pretty sure this must have been a. Yeah, I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why I have that. Whatever. I have the Daemon X Machina prologue demo, which I don't think you can get anymore. The game has since been released on PC, but if you want to know what the game was like before, well, the demo is here. Mega Man 11, which I no longer have. I've mean to actually play that game. I want to get through the X series first, which I've kind of forgotten about. That, and also I want to go back and replay the first 10. Arena of Valor, Fallout Shelter, Daemon X Machina prototype mission, which another demo, which I don't think you can get anymore. Shovelware. I don't really care for this. This game came with my Switch, which I have yet to touch, and this is a demo. So yeah, that pretty much does it for my entire Nintendo Switch collection, and oh boy, we're almost at the 40-minute mark, and if this oh, almost forgot, actually, I got this thing as well. Yeah, so I got this special case from the My Nintendo as a My Nintendo reward. It's basically a case that lets you carry like 8 games inside. So yeah, you have 8 slots here for 8 games that you want to carry with you. If you don't want to carry like 8 different cases, you can only get this as part of a My Nintendo reward. So you need to save up a bunch of platinum points just to get it for free, but then you also have to pay for shipping. So yeah, this is a novelty like that I paid a premium for. Like really, you're better off just keeping the games in a case with that for your Switch. Really, I just got this because I thought it would look cool, but honestly, you're better off just keeping it in a regular case. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video, guys. That's my Nintendo Switch collection as of August of 2023. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and tell me, and especially tell me what you guys all think of this. Well, anyways, guys, that does it for this video. I will see you next time with whatever video I'm going to come up with next.